Part two in our year-long series on fighting childhood obesity. Dr. Stacy Wadlington, a licensed clinical psychologist, explores a relationship between a mother and daughter. Listen in to this raw tape.
Wow, in the times that we've been meeting, and Felicia can chime in on this as well, we have really been able to look at some of the patterns of Felicia's parenting related to some of her own coping strategies that she's learned at the way she was parented, and how they were adaptive and not adaptive for her. Kind of the sense of some of the things that she experienced managing like modes of depression in periods that Simone was there when feeling some depression, and how that kind of impacted her parenting Simone, impacted kind of the way we parent. We parent off of a couple of things. We parent off of desire, need, fear, guilt, etc. And all those things get kicked in our attempt to make our child safe, to provide our child with what we can. Then we tend to make sure, sometimes we protect them. We desire to protect them so much. We want to protect them from pain, from all these things, and sometimes in our efforts to protect them, we actually block them from having some of the skills they need to succumb their own challenges.
So what have you learned in these last few months since that first, well, I know you had met before, but since our first initial meeting and what we had kind of talked about, what you were going to work through?
I think what I learned in that time the most was that there were things that I felt guilty about or felt were my responsibility, and some things weren't and some things were. I'm just become a little bit more probably honest with myself. And I shouldn't say honest. I've been able to explore more and see more of how the way I did things had an effect on Simone, and had taken responsibility in a different way. I think before it was just like seeing her, but not knowing that was some of my behavior.
Simone, what are you hoping to get out of this? This is our first time talking. Your mom has been working. What are you hoping to get out of this?
I think I like to get a better understanding. I think I noticed a lot of things in me that are like have influenced the way I've like cope with other people, and I guess I kind of want to see where maybe the things I got from my mom, some things that she placed in me that I use in my everyday surroundings. I think this is kind of interesting, to see her insight on things.
So I'm going to kind of just eavesdrop on your conversation.
It's too much. When you have knowledge, you feel guilty because you want to be perfect, but you don't act on that knowledge.
Right.
It takes too much energy to do the right thing. So since the right thing has got to be so perfect, I can't not just stop trying to eat this and that. I've got to starve completely. I've got to not ever eat bread again. It becomes so freaking all or nothing that you're like, never mind, forget it. It becomes so, never mind, forget it. So I just shoot myself in the foot just because within the matter of 20 seconds, I already have it down pat. Right. I'm done. I can't do anything. Yeah, it's a self-defeating. And a part of having to really reshift our self-defeating is to self-praise. And we do that sometimes, and we think that we do it because we think that we do it by dressing, decorating our box, decorating our present. We think we do it by making sure that we're cute. We think we're doing it by having the cutest outfits and the latest this, and we think we're doing it by that. But really, taking care of self in that way is continuously feeding ourselves the message that you are more than okay. Not only externally but internally, giving ourselves the gift of love. That sounds so challenging and so abstract, but it's just validating us. And when you give yourself those affirmations that you're okay, you're more than okay, you're doing the best you can at this particular moment, that the goal is not perfection but excellence, and excellence is doing the best you can with what you have, and being very mindful that can shift at any point in time. You can only give to yourself what you have. And when you're feeling like you don't have much left to give, don't opt to give to others to prove that you're okay. Don't opt to give to others so they can like you and accept you. Opt to take that time out to give to self. And that's a hard pattern to shift.
And I could really begin. I can look at where the negative thoughts about herself started from her being a little kid and very spirited. And so I remember a turning point where I had to stop saying things. My God, she's a handful. She's a this. She's a that. So I just can imagine messages for years and years of I mean, people saying that about, oh my God, someone you're this, someone you're that. I mean, and so that ends up being your voice.
And then not saying that she's overweight.
Right. Well, no,
never use the word
No,
overweight.
no.
we couldn't do.
We wouldn't talk about fat at all.
Wouldn't talk about fat.
I would never say the word fat.
Yeah, never say that. Never say that. Never say that. Yeah. So the beautiful thing about life is that you learn from it and we grow.
You do.
And the beautiful thing about time is that it continues to pass. So that's the basic part of empowerment, is that empowerment occurs over time. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you coming in here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you allowing me a part of this journey. I'm always jazzed, but I just think that this is fabulous.
And I think that there were certain things you couldn't grow and get better until you were away from me.
Hence,
Because
you got to
needed
stay
to
away.
No, really, because
Yeah.
there were certain things you didn't have my critical, judgmental voice. You were able to get your own voice, and I had to grow and realize how hard I've made it for you sometimes, just out of my stuff. So I'm grateful to see that you're getting insight for your own process, and I'm so happy for you.